Rounding all the way means rounding to the highest place value. So if you look at the 2, that gets rounded to 200,000 because the 1 directly to the right causes you to round down. Looking at the 1, the digit to the right is an 8, so that causes you to round up. So it's 200,000 plus 200,000 with our rounded estimate. So that's 400,000 for the final answer. And the exact answer just means adding those together with your calculator. To convert the improper fraction to a whole or mixed number, remember you can take the top number and divide it by the bottom number to find out how many times it fits in evenly. So we got 60. If you divide it by 16, that means 16 fits into 60 3 times without going over. And so this 0.75 here, let's subtract out the whole part, that helps you find out what's left over here in the fraction. Look, keep your 16 in the denominator. And then to figure out what's missing here, you multiply the decimal times the denominator. So 12 is left over. But that can be reduced, right? 3 and 12 sixteenths, that's 3 and 3/4. Melissa borrowed $5,600 at the bank. She repaid 3/7, and the question is, what is the remaining balance owed? Well, if you paid 3/7, then 4/7 is still owed. So you want to multiply by 4/7. That will tell you the fraction of money that's still owed. 5,600 times 4 divide 7. 3,200 is still owed. 24 thousandths. We said the thousandths was the third decimal place. So that means 24 needs to be rewritten. It needs to be written so that the last digit is in the thousandths place, right? Tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So that means you got to have a 0 filled in here to fill the gap. So it's 0.024. Convert fraction to a decimal. That's just where you take the top number divided by the bottom number. Question 6 is just asking to how you write this amount as a check. $964 and 75 out of 100. Remember, the convention is to write it as a fraction of 100. Don't simplify. Don't just try to write the cents off to the side. It's got to be 75 out of 100 there. Question 7, to get C by itself. Bit of a complicated equation, but we can do it. First thing, that's a 6 by the way, not a G. First thing is to add that 5 to both sides, because that's a sitting duck. It's easy to get rid of it. It's a -5. If you do the opposite, then it's gone because it turns into nothing. And 10 plus 5 makes 15. And then to get C by itself, right now it's C divided by 6 equals 5. So you want to multiply 6 to both sides. So 15 times 6. So it gives us 90. So that's what you'd plug in for your answer here. So we saw this earlier in the course. Luis and Berto are selling TVs. Last month, Berto is 15 more than Luis. That's what that second sentence translates. If L is the number of TVs Luis sold, then Berto is 15 more than Luis. And together, I mean, if you add Berto and Luis, if you add up the total TV sales together, they make 167. So to find out the answer for the number of TVs Luis sold, we're going to plug in what Berto is into this bottom equation so that we just have an equation dealing with the letter L. So instead of B, I'm writing 15 plus L. So 15 plus L, so that's 15 plus 2L. And then to get L by itself, subtract 15 from both sides. And then the last step is divide both sides by 2. 76. Luis, and the question is for Luis. Luis sold 76 TVs. We could plug that back in to find out how many Bertos sold, but we don't necessarily need to do that for this problem. Remember with percentages, when you convert them to decimals, it should always be smaller. The percentage form is always bigger. So take the number 64 and divide it by 100. That moves the decimal place 2 places to the right, like we're 2 places to the left, I should say, like we're supposed to. So 0.64 is the decimal form of 64%. Question 10, they're buying a house. They need a 24.5% down payment. So how much is the down payment? In other words, the question is saying, what's 24.5% of 475,000. Okay, so take the 475,000, multiply by 0.245. So it's 116,375. Question 10 says, question 11 says calculate the discount amount. In other words, calculate how much we save if we have these chain discounts. Right? So one thing we've done is we calculate the net price factor, which tells us what percentage of the product we pay. And you multiply by each of the individual net price factors. Okay? So I'll explain where those numbers are coming from. Look, 40% means they're saying, hey, we're giving you 40% off. Well, the whole product is 100%. You pay the original price, you're paying 100% of the price. Take away the 40%. That means 60% is what you pay. So that's the net price factor for a 40% discount. But since we're chaining on the discounts, our net price factor has to include all the discounts. So 20% off means I pay 80%. 15% off means I pay 85%. So the net price factor is 0.408 or 40.8% is what we pay. So a single equivalent discount, all it is 1 minus the net price factor. The single equivalent discount will help us find the trade discount. Okay. If we pay 40.8% of the product price, so if you take that away from 1, in other words, take it away from 100%, that means you're saving 59.2%. Okay, so the discount that they're looking for is just the 7,000 times the single equivalent discount. So 7,000 times 0.592. So $4,414 is the discount. Okay, question 12 is from chapter 9. Question 12 says 6.2% Social Security and 1.45% Medicare. We're supposed to find out each tax. But remember, Social Security has the upper cutoff. This person has $133,500, but we only use up until that upper cutoff when we calculate their Social Security tax. And I'll leave that for you. The Medicare tax, there is no upper cutoff. So that's all we have to calculate for the Social Security and Medicare tax. Question 13 says, find out how much interest is on the loan. We just did simple interest in this class. So the interest is found by taking the principal, the starting amount, times the rate, and just so you know where I'm getting this from, 7 3/4. Look, 3/4 as a decimal is 0.75. So this is 7.75%, which is 0.0775 as a decimal. And then the time, remember, time always has to be in terms of years. So make sure to divide 6 months by 12. Okay, and you can just punch that all through your calculator. $2,712.50. And 14 is similar, right? They're asking for interest. The principal is $1,500. The rate is 10%. And the time is 90 days, but they said use the 360-day rule. So same as the last question, just different numbers in terms of days. So $37.50. Question 15 asks us to round to the thousands place. So this is the thousands place. You only look at the digit directly to the right. Don't look at any other ones and see, oh, I can round this one up, and that rounds the other one up. The digit to the right of the thousands place is a 4, so that's considered low. So 36,000 is our answer, rounded to the thousands place. Okay, remember, well, no, this one's just saying there's no decimal here. I thought there was going to be a decimal. We're supposed to identify the number. This is a 2 in the thousands place. So we say 2,107, because 7 is in the ones place. Question 17, we're supposed to make a fraction for the cake. You might remember this from our homework. It's supposed to be a fraction of the eaten portion. And a fraction is you take the portion you're interested in and divide it by the total. and then we can reduce that, right? 12 of the 30 slices were eaten. But now we can reduce, divide the top and the bottom by 2, divide the top and the bottom, they're both divisible by 3, so 2/5. Okay, I'll go over this one kind of quickly because we did, my constraint right now is YouTube. My YouTube channel has a ton of videos and takes a super long time to upload if I don't go quickly. But make sure to go back to week 2 if you want a more detailed explanation of this one. But you're basically supposed to add these 3 weights. So if I add the whole amounts, the whole part of the mixed numbers, got 80 pounds. And now if you add the fractions, it's 1/6 plus 1/3 plus 5/6. We need common denominators, so the only thing that's missing a common denominator is this one here. I'll multiply the top and the bottom of this fraction by 2. And now that we have common denominators, we can add the numerators. So 1 plus 2 plus 5. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 5 makes 8. 8 out of 6, which you can reduce that. That's 4, divide the top and the bottom by 2. And then that's 1 1/3. Okay? So 1 1/3. So we had 80 pounds plus another whole pound. That means we have 81 1/3 pounds. A fish tank weighs 67.36 pounds empty and 483.54 pounds full. So what's the weight of the water? Well, take how much it is with the water, take how much the fish tank and the water is, and take out the weight of the fish tank. So the difference, 416.18. 416.18. The difference, when you take out the weight of the fish tank, that leaves you the weight of the water. Question 20 comes from chapter 4. Balance forward means tell us how much money you have after all the transactions are done. So I started with $2,263.72. They wrote a check, so that's subtracting the amount of money they have. They made a deposit, so that's increasing the amount of money they have. They wrote a check, so that's reducing the amount of money they have. So $2,716.45 is the amount of money going forward. Okay, we saw this word problem in chapter 5, but just to give you another recap of what it is, the winner gets a certain amount of money in this contest, and the runner-up gets some money. If you add those together, it makes $52,000. The winner is 3 times the runner-up. Okay, so you got to do 3 times the amount the runner-up is. And so we can make that an equation by replacing the word runner-up with the letter x. We'll just remember that x represents the runner-up. So 3x plus x makes 4x. And then divide 4 from both sides to finish getting x by itself. So the runner-up gets 13,000. And the winner receives 3 times as much as the runner-up. So take 3, multiply it by the runner-up's amount. So 39,000 for the winner. Question 22. We did encounter this one before, but just to help you out with this problem, they're saying 73.5% of the students at a college are in-state. And so 23,950 students are from in-state. So how many students total attend the college? So if you take the total students in the college and you multiply it by the decimal form of that percentage represents in-state students, right? So this quantity should equal the amount of in-state students. Take all the students, multiply by that percentage. What's left over should be the in-state students. So we'll call the total students x here. In order to get x by itself, we just have to divide 0.735 from both sides. So we got 23,950 divided by 0.735. That gives us 32,585, and well, I think they said round to the nearest whole number, so 32,585. Question 23. They're asking us to calculate a percentage. And remember, a percent is always a portion, or which is the amount you're interested in, divide by the base, and then multiply by 100. And so the portion, in this case, they want to know the percent increase in sales. So the sales increased by 0.9 percentage points. That's your portion. The base is the starting amount. It started at 4.5%. And then we multiply by 100 to finish converting it. So for this question, 0.9 divided by 4.9 times 100. So it's, they said the nearest, doesn't say for the decimal, huh? Let me just make sure I got that right. 0.9 divided by 4.5. Oh, I didn't. I typed it in wrong. It's my sloppy writing here. This is 4.5. So here, if I type that in correctly, that's why they didn't ask for decimal places, because there's no decimal places. It's a 20% rise. Okay, question 24. It's a chain discount again, like we did before. They want the net price. So that, in other words, they want to know how much they're supposed to pay in the end. So we can find the net price factor. So 44% off means we pay 50%, 56%. 24% off means we pay 76%. 12% off means we pay 88%. So if we multiply those together, that's 0.37, blah, 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 a bunch of stuff. And so the net price is just found by taking the list price and multiplying by the net price factor. So $4,868.64 when we round to the nearest decimal. Wait, what did I say? $4,868.86. Look, question 25 is asking for the net price. Okay, so if you got a list price of $5,024 and you get a 34% trade discount, that means your net price factor is 0.66 or 66%, right? Look, if the product's 100%, that's the original price. Take out the savings, the 34%, then you're paying 66% of the price. So the net price is just the $5,024 times the net price factor. So it's $3,315.84. Got Sarah's weekly salary. What would her gross salary be if it was on a bi-weekly salary? So what I would first do is find out how much Sarah makes per year. So take, it's weekly, so take 52 weeks and multiply it by their weekly paycheck. So annually, Sarah makes $65,699.92. And now we can split that bi-weekly. Look, bi-weekly means getting paid once every 2 weeks. So instead of 52 paychecks, cut it in half. You get 26 paychecks. So take their annual salary and divide by the number of paychecks that you get bi-weekly. So $2,526.92 bi-weekly. Question 27, what is the total deduction for Social Security and Medicare? So we've done something similar to this, unless they're self-employed. They've already earned $48,560. They're not above the threshold for a cutoff yet. Okay, so your Social Security tax, there's no funny business. Take the 3,160, multiply that by 0.062. Take the 3,160, multiply that by 0.0145. And then you got to add those together because they want the total deduction. So add those two results together. This is just a simple interest question, which we did before. I'll just set it up real quick. And then question 29, time period. We haven't done this one yet. Plug everything in where it's supposed to go into the simple interest formula. The interest is $109.14, so I plug that in for I. The loan was for $2,550, so that goes in for P. The R, the rate, is 11%, and the time is something I don't know, but we're supposed to find it in days using the exact interest method, so 365 for the number of days. Look, take the number of days, you got to divide it by 365 to convert it to years, or else the simple interest formula doesn't work. And then what we did in class is we rearranged the left side to make it easier for when we use our calculator. Okay, so 2,550 times 0.11 divided by 365. So 0. Did I do that right? Yep. Okay, so this is the decimal I'll keep over here. And then in order to get d by itself, I need to divide that decimal from both sides. So 109.14 divided by that decimal gives us 142.01. Round to the next highest day means I've got to round up to 143.